for 4.5 years.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm a behavior analyst, so I work mostly with families and educators in schools. I provide them with wellness strategies and help teach professionals how to apply behavior strategies in the classroom. And I also teach yoga here as well.
Amazing. Can you tell us just a little bit about what behaviors do you target when you come to help an educator or a parent? What type of behaviors do you assist with?
So when it comes to behavior, we look at any behaviors that are going to help that individual live a more independent and successful life in whatever environment that they're in. So that could be in the school, so it might be helping an individual with things like academic work, or learning how to communicate more efficiently with peers or with the teacher, for example. And at home, we may work on behaviors like helping an individual be more independent, do chores, communicate with their parents more, or even be independent with daily living skills like washing hands, brushing teeth, depending on the functioning abilities of that person.
Good. So it's not necessarily just focused on unwanted behaviors. I guess for me, when I've heard of people dealing with behavior specialists, it's always been focused on what you don't want them to do.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily just trying to stop things or trying to decrease behaviors, like we would say, but also things that you want to increase. Even things like using polite manners, being more independent, even anything that we would consider a behavior, which is anything that a person does, are things that we can help somebody to work on and improve.
Where did your interest in yoga and mental health begin?
So I've always been interested in mental health, and I think that just with my own challenges, growing up as a child and then in college and just moving around, all of the different things that I've had to do, I've realized that I needed to focus on my wellness, and something wasn't right, but I never had the words to really explain what was going on. So now I think that mental health is becoming more popular. People are talking about it more. And now I have more language to be able to share resources with others and use my own journey as well to hopefully inspire other people. And also, especially in the Black community, to make it a priority. It's not something that we tend to really emphasize, or we tend to kind of leave it to the last thing to do on our to-do list. So my goal is to teach people, Black people and Black women especially, that it should be at the top of the list.
So is it, when it comes to mental health and yoga, is it something that you learned together, or how did you come to merge the two resources together and develop your practice?
So that's a good question. That's a very good question. I came to yoga, actually the first time I started yoga, it was more of a complement to my fitness routine. I was already regularly exercising, and yoga was an addition to that. But then once I started diving deeper into yoga, I came to know the mental health benefits. So there's a lot of people's journey into yoga, and the word yoga itself actually means union. So it's not just physical aspects, that's a big component, but it's the union of the body, the mind, the soul, spirit, bringing everything together to bring you into a complete conscious and aware being of your experience. So I have also gotten mental health through other aspects, like in just being surrounded by loved ones, learning, constantly challenging myself. I think other things can take you to learn more about mental health. So however you get there is how you get there. Yoga is one way to do that, and it's been helpful for me. So that's what I'm hoping I can share with other people.
When you have an individual come to you needing services, how do you go about servicing them?
So if somebody was interested in any issues that they have. I'm struggling with my child, or I'm struggling personally on these particular behaviors. The first thing that I would do is come in to observe, just see what's going on, take a look at what the concerns are, take a look at what the environment for that person is like. And then I would make an individualized plan, essentially, for things that we can do, adjustments that we can make for that person, things that could be changed, certain procedures that can be used that would help that person reach whatever goals are going to be beneficial to them.
Can you share some of your favorite things about what you do, or maybe even a success story and how whatever you've implemented has helped somebody?
So with yoga and mental health in particular, I think hearing people say that I've inspired them to try something new or to challenge, even just moving abroad, certain people that I've spoken to feel like these types of things are more possible, and maybe they don't have the limitations that they've had before, just by me continuing to share my story. And then also with just helping people with behavior concerns, being able to help children become more independent, being able to help families in general have more cooperation and effective communication in the home has been great. And teachers as well. The more that students are independent and able to respond, and as well, the more that teachers have the skills to be able to help certain issues that they may not know how to deal with, makes me feel like I've done my job.
Everybody has experienced COVID in one way or another. How have you been able to implement your knowledge and the things that you know and practice during COVID? What are some of the things that you do, or how did you use these skills during the lockdown and COVID and all this other stuff?
Yeah, so when we were in lockdown, I started teaching yoga classes on Zoom. I did one at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. My family and friends came from all over. I had people from here. Some of my family and friends and people here actually even got to meet each other in those Zoom environments, which has been great. And that was one of my favorite things that I did during COVID, just being able to provide that. Especially so many people physically were saying how much they were just tired of sitting still and felt like their bodies were not experiencing the movement that they used to before. So being able to just provide a space for people to do that in the comfort of their own homes, without having to be in a studio, because sometimes people who are new to yoga are very intimidated by being in a yoga studio. You're looking at other people, you look in the mirrors, you're comparing yourself. So I think that's been one of the benefits to teaching on Zoom.
Is there anything that you noticed about yourself during COVID that you kind of had to check, or behavior that you needed to evaluate during those difficult times as well?
Definitely, I think just being hard on myself with how productive I'm being, which I feel like maybe a lot of people kind of relate to that. I definitely had days and weeks where I was unmotivated, didn't have energy, and just recognizing that we're all in a global pandemic. None of us have ever experienced this before. Things are different for everyone, and to just be gentle and compassionate to yourself.
Can you give us 3 tips to help people prioritize their mental health?
The first thing I would say is to just work on becoming more accepting of yourself. So whatever flaws you have, whatever things that you find yourself constantly criticizing, just become a little bit more, or work on becoming a little bit more kind and compassionate, and recognizing that you're doing the best that you can and you're always going to be a work in progress. The second one I would say is to spend time doing the things that you enjoy. So a lot of times we prioritize work and we prioritize everything that we want to do, except the things that just make us feel relaxed and at ease. So prioritize those two. Actually take time to do what brings you joy. And the third one would be, I think if you're going to try something new, to just be consistent with it. So instead of picking something and kind of giving up, if you're going to try yoga, or even if you want to try something else for your physical health, like boxing, or pick up a new skill, to be consistent and give yourself time to see the effects of that, rather than trying something and just giving up.
Where can we follow you?
Okay, great. So if you're interested in yoga, you can follow me on my Instagram handle, which is Mellow and Chill. I have a link in my bio where you can sign up if you want to be notified about my classes or anything else that I do. If you're interested in behavior challenges, whether you're a teacher or a family or a parent, you can follow me on my professional account, which is Behavioral Wellness Map, and the Instagram handle is Be Well Map.